Have you ever gotten in trouble for speaking up for women's rights? My name is Lena. I've always been a strong advocate of women's rights. Volunteer work, public forums, debates, I gave it everything. My friends warned me about consequences, but I didn't listen. Last year, I attended a public event on women's health and reproductive rights. One of those discussions where nonprofits, sponsors, and speakers pretend it's open dialogue, when really everyone is shaping the narrative. I was there as a volunteer with the women's health group. We focused on reproductive health, abortion rights, education, and support systems. Panel included a strange man named Hale, who spoke in a calculated manner talking about responsibility, stability, policy realism. But underneath, it was clear women's choices, to him, needed control. I recognized him from social media, carefully worded takes on abortion, decision-making responsibility, even comments about women in voting, enough that people already labeled him anti-woman. During Q&A, I asked a question. How could someone who frames women's autonomy as needing guidance also claim to support equal representation? He smiled at me, like I was being annoying. He replied about things being misinterpreted, taken out of context, and the need for balanced discussion, the kind of response that sounds smart if you don't question it. But I referenced his post directly, pointed out the gap between his public image and his actual words. There was no out of context. It was all recorded. The version of him in that debate did not match what he had already made public. The silence that followed was uncomfortable. He ended his participation early and left. I didn't think much of it. Life moved on. I kept working while waiting on other opportunities. My team lead at Blue Line was someone I respected, calm, fair. She went on maternity leave after a while. Everything was handled properly, but it left a gap. And that's when Mr. Hale was brought in as a temporary lead. The moment he walked, we both recognized each other. He paused slightly during introductions. Lena Carter, we've met before. That was enough. From that day on, things changed. At first, subtly. Tasks that weren't mine, then more, then everything. Refine this, became rebuild that, became handle this. Every time I finished something, it went up under his name. In meetings, it was his team. In reviews, his leadership. My work stayed invisible. Then came the turning point. A major pitch, North Peak retail, high stakes, tight deadline. I prepared most of it, even a backup program. He reviewed it, made small edits, and presented it as his own. 3 days before the pitch, he dropped the deck on my desk. Clean it up. No acknowledgement, no collaboration. That's when a colleague guided me. I stopped overfunctioning. I did what was assigned to me. We used a task system to track work. If it wasn't assigned to me officially, I didn't do it. Presentation day came, pressure was intense. He started confident. Suddenly, the presentation missed things, explanations. When the client asked a question about the strategy flow, something only the builder would understand, he got flustered. He tried to answer, but couldn't. Then he looked at me, a silent signal to fix it, like always. I didn't move. He tried again. Lena, clarify the sequence. His superiors asked why she should explain it if he led the structure. He had no answer. He looked at me again. I looked towards the higher-ups and said, I built it, so I'll explain. I walked through everything. By the end, it was obvious who built it and who stood in front of it. Later, leadership reviewed everything. I didn't stay for what came next. A few days later, I left for another company I had applied to. And for the first time since that panel, I think he understood something he didn't like. Women are more than capable, even when people refuse to admit it. What do you think? Was I wrong not to help him?